Welcome to Loco, Gringo, Mexico, the place where we transform a tourist into a traveler, because you deserve to see more of the world than just what's in a guidebook. Each week, we talk with amazing locals who know the Riviera Maya and Yucatan like only a local can, and get them to share their tips and insights on the local scene, culture, and cuisine from a local's perspective. So, pour yourself a margarita, grab a comfy chair, and let's get the show going.
Hola, hola, everybody. This is Kay at Loco Gringo here in the Riviera Maya, and I want to welcome you to today's show. We're going to talk to a friend of mine, Jungle John, and John is the owner of the Mundo Maya Brewing Company here in Playa del Carmen. John originates from the Great White North up in Canada, and he has made Playa del Carmen his home and makes beer for a living. So let's chat to John, and he's going to get us up to speed on the world of microbrew. Hey, my name is Kay from Loco Gringo, and I am speaking today with Jungle John of Mundo Maya Beer. Hey, John, how you doing?
You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, good. No, I'm doing good, Kay. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine. Hey, John, you know what? I've had several beers with you, and I've drank Mundo Maya, which I really like. But you got to tell me, how did you get to the Riviera Maya and start brewing beer? Aren't you from Canada?
Yeah, I'm from Canada. I moved to Playa in 1994, and after doing a few other businesses and getting tired of Playa, I moved away. But then I got, attracted back here again. It didn't really warm up in Canada in winter very much over the years, so it didn't take me long to move back. Then when I got back here, everything had changed again, and it was what am I going to do for work? And I got to keep busy, and I just noticed that there was nobody doing craft beer down here, and so I turned an old hobby of mine back in Canada years ago into a little business venture. So that kind of, sparked the idea that there wasn't anybody doing craft beer. And since craft beer is a big craze all across Canada and the U.S., I figure it's time that we had some good drinkable beer down here in Mexico, and especially the Mayan Riviera.
Now I gotta ask you. I mean, I'm all for the microbrews and craft beers. Is why the Riviera Maya? Why not San Miguel Allende, Baja, some of those other great places in Mexico? Why did you choose the Riviera Maya initially, just to come down to Playa?
Well, Playa's Playa. It was, it's on the Mexican Caribbean. There's no better place in Mexico, in my opinion. From the Pacific to the Atlantic here to the Caribbean, I just feel that this area, has nicer beaches and the weather is more suitable. And although it does get a little warm in the summer. But no, it's a developing area. It's the newest area of Mexico, and I got here in '94 when it was nobody even knew where Playa was. If you told them you were in Playa del Carmen, they went, "Huh?" They looked at you kind of funny, and they hadn't heard of it. Now everyone you say Playa, and oh yeah, Playa del Carmen, sure, I've been there 100 times. So it was a new place for development in Mexico, and business entrepreneurs to come here and set up shop. And I did that years ago because I just knew it was gonna kind of take off. But mostly I like the area. I like the culture here. The Mayan people are nice, and it's just everything was new. It was a new adventure for all of us.
No, I agree. We got here in 1992, and it's been an adventure even nowadays. Even though we've got all this great technology, it's still an adventure, right?
Yeah, we were pioneers back then. The few Gringos that were down here back then, early '90s, mid '90s. We were the ones that kind of, took it and ran with it, and everyone has followed suit since then. You see a lot more nationals here, Mexican nationals that have migrated from, the Cabo Coast, in northern Mexico. You see a lot of plates now from out of the state, that are obviously living here or moving here, and kind of following our lead from many years ago. It's not the same as what it was, but it's still not bad. Still not a bad place to live.
No, it's a great place to live for sure. I love it. I got to ask you, we talk about the adventure and being the pioneers, and you are. Am I safe to say you are the pioneer of craft beer in the Riviera Maya?
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, in this part of Mexico, in the Mayan Riviera, I guess I was the first, or one of the first. There was only like two of us that started around the same time, and I started in 2012. I did my first test batches down here in 2012. The year of the Mayan prophecy, and you know, it was supposed to be a new beginning, and that's exactly what it was for me. I just decided that's when I wanted to do it, and this is where I wanted to do it. So yeah, I guess I pioneered it down here, and now there's a few others that have joined the ranks. So we're actually starting to have a little beer association of fellow brewers that we've formulated,
Oh, that's fun.
and now we act as a group, and we're starting to do beer festivals, organizing together as a group, and buying products as a group, somewhat. And well, this is the idea. Like any uh, business category, you tend to, there's restaurateurs kind of, maybe have their own little group, restaurant association. Well, we have our own beer association now.
Now, let me ask you, John, when you started, was it easy to start crafting beer in the Riviera Maya? I mean, I kind of picture here, I don't know. I had these visions of these stills going on. I don't know anything about making beer, of course, but was it hard to start your business? Did you have to like kind of make do with stuff you had in the closet and around the kitchen, or did you bring in a kit from Canada or the States?
Well, nothing's easy here, as you know. There's not a lot of resources to go out and buy equipment. So no, it was not easy. And there are now there are companies in Mexico that you can buy equipment from in the northern states, but nothing down here. So even if you use a Mexican supplier for equipment, it still has to be shipped down. You still have to order. You still have to wait a long time to get it. In my case, I built my own brewery. I built it back in Canada. I'm a bit of an engineer and fabricator, so I just put it together myself out of tanks and vessels that I acquired on the internet. And for one tank, I saw it on eBay, and it was located in North Carolina. So I was in Toronto at the time, and I just said, "Hell, I should go buy that tank," And I hadn't made the decision yet to really do the business 100%. But I said, you know what? If I do it, I need that tank, and it's cheap. So I drove down on a weekend, little drive down to North Carolina from Toronto, and did a little road trip and spent some time down there in the Outer Banks, and picked up this tank and met a bunch of cool people, and then put it on the trailer and drove it back to Toronto. And I, had it sitting there at my friend's farm for a year before I did anything with it. So, it's been an adventure getting this whole thing going. Not everybody can do what I did, but, maybe because they don't have the time or the knowledge. But, the alternative is to go out and buy a brewer house. And they're not cheap. They're a lot of money. So I saved a lot of money by doing everything myself. And then just, eventually when I had everything together, I put it on a trailer, and I left Toronto one cold, snowy December day, and drove to Miami, and unloaded the trailer there and at the shipyard, and on a boat it went. And then a few days later, it was here in Puerto Morelos, and I just took a plane and flew from Miami to Cancun. And then when the boat got here, I just went over to Puerto Morelos and made arrangements to pick it up, and the rest is history. Once it was here, it was just a matter of finding a place to set it up, and away we went.
No, John, I'm not, and I don't think I've ever claimed to be a beer aficionado. What different types of beers do you produce or do you make?
Well, I mean, our standard, we have 4 standard beers, and we started with 2. We started with a Vienna lager, which is, lager beers are very common in Mexico. That's pretty much all that the Mexican brew houses make. Even the commercial brewers, that's all they make, really. They don't really produce ales of any kind. So lagers are very, clean, crisp, light tasting beers. And, with the hot weather we have here, that's an ideal choice. It's a lighter beer. So I wanted to do a lager, but I wanted to do a lager that had taste and body, more like a European style lager, a German and Austrian. So I chose to do the Vienna style beer, which is more malt forward flavor, a little sweeter. You can really taste the hops. It's a higher hopped beer. So same but different, a little more punch to the lager, because I don't want to produce just another lager like, all the commercial lagers that are out there. There's no sense in doing that. We already have those. So I wanted a lager with more flavor. So we did the Vienna lager as a base, one of our standard beers. And then we also did an IPA, an Indian Pale Ale, which is, as everyone knows, is a very common beer throughout the world, especially in the States and Canada. It's really taken off over the last 20 years, the style. It's an English style beer originally, and it was it started off as a pale ale, actually, and it ended up going to India when England was occupying India, and to make the voyage on the ship, and for the beer to be a good quality when it arrived in India a few weeks later. They had to add a lot of hops to the beer, which is a natural preservative, and they had to up the alcohol level to be a conservative for the beer. So it became a style known as Indian Pale Ale, and so it's just,
I didn't know that was I didn't know that was the story behind it.
Yeah, that's how it came to be. But it started out in England, and and the English soldiers were drinking this beer way back when. And the style kind of faded out there for a while, but then, it got revived when the craft beer industry took off in North America. They kind of revived it. And they've since then made it their own style, really, because now you have an American pale ale, which is much more hoppier and, higher alcohol levels as well. And so I wanted to do an IPA and Indian Pale Ale in my lineup because it's just very popular. So those were our two base beers, the Vienna Lager and the IPA, and then later we developed an oatmeal stout, a lighter bodied stout, round flavor, the dark beer, obviously, but light bodied and low alcohol, so you can still, in this climate, it's a drinkable stout, really. And then we added American style wheat beer, which is very common throughout North America and Europe. Wheat beers are very common. And another style that actually for many years and then has come back since the craft brewing industry revived it. And I never really was a big fan of wheat beers, but, there's certain ones out there that I really liked. So I just developed one that I liked. Not a super strong wheat flavor, but they have a very different flavor profile than regular beers, and they're very citrusy and a little acid taste, but light-bodied and low alcohol as well. For here, we don't want to have too high alcohol beers when we're drinking in this heat. We want to drink a lot of beers to keep us refreshed. So those are the four styles that we do, and we're just opening up a draft bar in Tulum, which hopefully will be open next week.
Oh, great.
And we will have 10 different beer styles on tap. So we're going to do variations of wheat beers and variations of the IPA and variations of the stout. We're going to have 2 or 3 of each style, but, different variations of those styles, different flavor profiles. So it's going to be interesting.
Now, can you tell where's your draft house in Tulum going to be? Can you give us the address so people can find you?
Yeah, it's going to be at the restaurant Mateos Mexican Grill. We have the front corner bar location there. So it'll be a Mundo Maya satellite location working within the restaurant of Mateos Mexican Grill.
Okay, good. Well, no, because I wanna make sure that we get that. We put that on our blog and everything like that, so people know to check it out when they're down in Tulum.
Yeah, no, it's a great venue for us because I can do more beer styles. I'm going to brew smaller batches of these 6 other styles. So but I want to, as a brewer, I want to be able to be more creative in doing, one-off beers and but I never, until now, had a place to really, market that beer. But Mateos will be an interesting place to go because we'll have our standard beers, but we're also going to have, seasonal beers and one-off style beers and you never know, you could show up there any given day and you'll see a very interesting title on the blackboard there of a beer style. For instance, I just did a beer using mamey fruit.
Oh, wow.
And we infused the beer with the mamey, and it's a local fruit down here. So I wanted to start using more local fruits and flowers and spices and things like that and start really getting creative with, making some interesting flavors in the beer. So that's what Mateos will bring to Mundo Maya as a location that we can, showcase our brewing abilities. So hopefully within a week it'll be open.
I have to ask you, you talk about brewing all these different flavors and in creating these one-offs and everything. And then you said that brewing beer was a hobby. Now that it's your livelihood, has that changed your passion for what you do now? Have you lost your passion for it, or is the opportunity to create new flavors and everything, does that drive you? What keeps you going, turning your hobby into your day job?
Well, I think that everyone knows or, can imagine what it's like, having a hobby and then turning it into business. As long as you, enjoy what you're doing, as a hobby, usually that's what we do. We do it because we enjoy it. If you turn it into a business, yeah, you can tarnish, your passion, definitely. In my case, I was brewing 2 styles of beer and that gets monotonous over and over and over. So now we do 4. And now that we have a venue that we can market, specialty beers, the passion comes back, after a while you do 2 beers, over and over and over, it gets pretty mundane. And yeah, the passion does go out the window and it becomes a business. And, we don't always like going to work. We don't always like the drive, or we don't like, but I'm brewing beer here in the Caribbean, in a really nice little spot here with flowered trees all around and blue sky, and
it doesn't
warm,
suck.
And, so it doesn't suck. It's just, I would like to be able to do, like I said, more styles of beer and keeps that, creative juices going, and coming up and using your noodle to come up with new flavors. And you look at, I look at some fruits in the stores and I go, that would probably taste pretty good in a wheat beer, So let's, I can go back to the, to the drawing table here, and we'll put together a recipe and try it, and if it's good, then we'll put it out there in the draft bar. My clients can't take more than 2 or 3 or 4, 4 is the maximum amount of beers that they can actually take, so they don't have the room in their locations to really house more bottles. So, if I make 10 styles, they're probably still only going to buy 3 or 4. So, it's just more work for me doing more styles of beer. But for me to have my own location and market my beers, then a retail spot is the answer. Not a wholesale client list. So, we're looking forward to making more styles.
Let me ask you, John, is it just you working alone? Do you have a bunch of employees? How does that work? I don't know how many people are are needed to do this.
Well, brew day, I really don't, I brew myself. Sometimes I have a helper, somebody wants to come out here and give me a hand, and I don't really have an employee right now. And a lot of people look at me and go, you got to be kidding, And yeah, but I have a helper that comes out and does all the stuff that I don't want to do. Mostly it's cleaning, and, we reuse our bottles. So there's a lot of bottle washing going on here, and keg washing, obviously. So this has to be done. So I hire someone to come in for the day, and they wash a whole pile of bottles and wash kegs and clean up things around the shop. And, but brewing itself is not, you don't need a lot of people to do that. So I usually take care of the brewing, and then, I have a helper come in and do some things that I need, when I need them. But basically it's just me, and of course, and my partner, Roberta, Aunt Angela, she looks after sales, and she has a small part in the ownership of Mundo Maya, and she helped me, from the beginning get going and look after sales, and she does a great job in doing that. So together with her, we are Mundo and Maya. I'm Mundo, she's Maya.
She's a great gal, and you're really fortunate to have her with you. Just out of curiosity, and this is total newbie, sorry, I'm just basically open the bottle, pour it in a glass type gal. How long does it take to brew a batch of beer? I mean, is it a long process? Is it something, that has to ferment? I know wine takes a while, but I don't know, beer, does it take a long time?
Well, beer typically takes about 2 weeks from start to finish, and really most of that is just waiting. It's waiting, we're waiting for the beer to ferment. To brew the beer, it takes me about 12 hours to brew a batch of 1,250 liters. That's how much I brew every time I fire up the kettle. So, we have 1,250 liters fermenting. It takes about 5 to 7 days, roughly, for the fermentation process to happen. And then we cold age the beer. A lot of people have heard that term, cold-aged aging of beer. That's lagering. They call it a German word, lagering, is aging. And so we typically lager the beer for, 5 days, just to clarify the beer. When it's at 2 degrees Celsius, the yeast and everything will drop to the bottom of the fermenter, and the beer becomes very clear. And then we, so it's really 7 days of waiting. And then we take another day we filter the beer through a plate filter, multiple 20 plates, and we run the beer through this filter. And it extracts quite a bit of the yeast particles and any particular matter, hops and bits of grain that may be still in the beer. So it's all filtered nice and clear. And then it goes in from the filter, it goes right into the kegs. And then from the keg, we bottle. So, that takes another day and a half to do that process. So really, you're looking at 2 or 3 days of labor in the put the beer into the bottle. But really, it's a 2-week time span because we got to let Mother Nature do her part. She's a little slower than us.
Yeah, I understand.
But without her, we're not having beer without her. The yeast is the
the magic ingredient.
The most important thing, and that's the magic bullet. Without yeast, we won't have beer. So the yeast do an amazing job. It's a pretty interesting. If you look into the science of brewing, you go on YouTube and look at some how to brew beer videos. One videographer guy, Bobby from New Jersey, he has some very interesting videos on YouTube on how to brew beer and the science behind it a little bit, but explained in layman's terms and and some props and everything. So he's an interesting guy to watch, and you'll learn a lot from him. He hasn't been doing any videos for a while, but he's still on YouTube, and I watched them a lot, over the years.
Well, I loved when I toured. I loved when I toured your brewery, and I thought it was fascinating. Unfortunately, by the time I finished the tour and I went home, I don't think I remembered a whole lot of the tour, but I think the beer was really, really good. Actually, I know the beer was really, really
Yeah.
good. I think the tour must have been really good too. I had a good time, apparently.
Yeah, no, the beer's the beer's great. I one of the reasons I wanted to do this business down here was because I just got tired of drinking these lagers, these Mexican commercial lagers, any commercial beer for that matter. Doesn't matter if it's Mexican or American or Canadian. It's just commercial beer. That's what it is. It's just not very interesting. And I want something with more, just something more oomph. More flavor, I like things with flavor. So I said, hey, I'm going to brew beer because I want to drink nice beer. So, hopefully, judging from a lot of our comments we get on our website and our Facebook page, a lot of people seem to think we're doing a good job. So we're happy about that, and we always get great comments. And, so that's nice feedback for me as a brewer, people enjoy your beer. So that's good. I just want to get into a retail situation where we can, we can have a public come into our brewery, a brew on-site facility with, with some food. We'll be serving food and alcoholic drinks as well, and non-alcoholic drinks, and we'll be able to sell bottled beer to go. For tourists who want to take beer back home, they can come in and buy bottled beer to go, and T-shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff. We'll have a little gift shop. So we're
that would be great.
Just looking for someone to maybe join the party and who wants to maybe help us out and get this going. Just takes a lot of money, as we know, to set these things up, and could be a while before before I can do it all on my own. But I don't want to do it on my own because it's a lot of work. A lot of work.
Yeah,
so.
no, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Well, John, a lot of the people I've got a couple of standard questions. I'm talking to people who come from all walks of life here in the Riviera Maya, and I want to ask you. So I have a couple of questions because we want to give people who come and visit the area a more personal experience. So now that they hear your story, when they're having a beer, a Mundo Maya beer, they're gonna know, hey man, I listen to this guy John. He's got a great story on how he came here and how he started all this. So I want to ask you, can you share with me, what's your favorite part of Mexico? Is it here in the Riviera Maya, or is there another part you go, you know what, it is I might live here and everything, but one of my most favorite parts is there a special place?
Well, I've had, I've been fortunate to be able to travel through quite a bit of Mexico, and I've seen a lot of it. But really, I don't know if I want to live, full time in another part. I mean, I could, but I don't have that burning desire to go to, A, B, or C place in Mexico. I really, I think I'm living in the place that I want to live in. I've kind of evaluated this many times over the years, since '94. If there was a better place than Playa, I think I'd be living there, because I don't want to live somewhere where I know there's a better place, because I want to live in the best place. And I think I'm living in it. We have a lot of interesting people from all over the world here, which brings a lot of multiculturalism to this area. I think it's a unique place of Mexico. It's not just one demographic. It's not just Americans or just Canadians or just Mexicans. It's a real diverse community, and which makes it interesting. And with all these different cultures come different, ideas, different foods, and different cultures. And, but I think we're all kind of living with the same idea here that, we like Mexico, we like this part of Mexico, we like the different varieties of food that, that all these different groups of people bring. I remember when I first moved here, you could barely find a can of spaghetti sauce. And, now we've got umpteen Italian restaurants, we've got Chinese restaurants, we've got Greek restaurants, we've got, Argentinian food, we've got Israeli food. I mean, really. So, coming from Toronto, which is a very multicultural city, I have the same, situation here, but I get a lot of variety in just by living in one little space. So I think living in other parts, like, San Miguel, for example, it's kind of a American Canadian crowd maybe living there. I don't know. I haven't been there a long time, but and a lot of expats. So, and it's in the mountains and it's a different setting. But if you like that stuff, I guess that's San Miguel's for you. For me, I like the Caribbean. I like the ocean. I like going down at the end of the day and having a beer on the beach and looking at the water and the birds and the people and the sun shining off the waves. I like that. So for me, I think Playa is it, But I do like all the other parts of Mexico that I traveled through. They're interesting. And I like, from Playa, you can just jump on a plane. You can fly anywhere out of Cancun. Or you can jump in your vehicle and you can just, you can drive over to Chiapas and you can go, to see the ruins, and you can go, over to Oaxaca. You can go, Campeche. There's all interesting places around here. So it's nice to just be able to jump in your truck or on a plane and just take a little trip, and then when you come home to Playa.
No, Playa is a great city. I love Playa, and I do remember it from the Sleepy Fishing Village days. And now it's different, but it still has it has some great things going for it, and it's a beautiful multicultural city. And it's a very interesting analogy you draw the parallel to Toronto, which I also know. And yeah, it's really cool how we have so many cultures. So, John, it begs the question: where are some of your favorite spots? I mean, do you have any secret spots that you say, hey, you know what? This is like my favorite place for tacos, or this is a place I escape to when I want to get away from Playa, or this is a hole in the wall bar that I love to go to. You got any little secrets that you can share with me?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm
come
not telling you my
on,
secret.
man.
My secret
I
places
wanted to
are.
see.
I don't want everybody
Oh,
going there. No, we have a kind of a standing joke with us locals. It's like, no, don't tell anyone where this place is, because then next thing you know, it's not going to be special anymore. It's just going to be full of everybody.
I know, but that's part of my job, yeah.
Yeah, I know. There's a conflict of interest here. Anyway, okay, I'll divulge one, and you know this place.
Okay, I'll take one. If I can't have three, I'll take one.
Yeah. I'll tell you this one place, and you know it, I'm sure, is Chimicos. Chimicos is
I love Chimicos.
Yeah, so Chimicos for me is a little escape when I want to get out of Playa. I just drive down the coast, and we go down to Chimicos, and for those who don't know what Chimicos is, I'm sure you've already got some on your website about it, but it's a great spot. It reminds me of Playa 25 years ago. Just very rustic. A Mayan family operating a little business on the beach with a little hut and an outdoor cooking, place, and plastic tables and chairs on the beach, and go there and have a great, Caribbean Mayan ceviche, have a couple of cold beers, and look at the gorgeous scenery. There's palm trees, hammocks, and just sand beach. No real development. It's just a little hut, and that's.
No, it's real. It's very old school.
It's old school, and this is like Tulum was years ago. There's all this development that's been going on down there. It's really changing the profile of the look of the place, but yeah, it hasn't changed drastically, but it's it's not the same. Just you walk into a primitive feeling place, and that's what for me was so appealing, and that's why I moved here, because it wasn't built up. It was just natural, and we're running out of places like this in the world. Places to go that are just natural. Every time we come to a new place, we have to chop down the trees and put up concrete buildings and glass and steel. And why can't we just leave it natural? Because that's the appeal of why we want to go there, because there is no. But then as soon as a bunch of people get the idea, let's start changing this place because we need a mall, we need a this, we need a that. No, just leave it alone.
No, so let me ask you, when you're at Chimicos, what's your favorite? You like the ceviche, or you're in for a fried fish?
No, I do the ceviche because, the fried fish, get that everywhere. And, the first time I had the ceviche there was lobster in it, which I thought was really great. It's like, hey,
yeah, it is
I'm getting
great.
little lobster tails in my ceviche as a bonus, And I'm sure it was just maybe that day, but who knows? But, the ceviche is always fresh, which obviously ceviche should be. But it's just, snow. It was probably swimming around, that day or that morning. And, we're having a very fresh product and prepared well. But the setting is really, the added bonus there. It's not so much about the food. It's, it's just a combination of where you are.
The food tastes better because of the atmosphere.
Yeah, the speech is good, and it's just, but you're sitting in this natural little place, and the palm trees all around, and some hammocks, and a few people, not too crowded, unless you're going to Semana Santa. But it's just a nice little escape.
No, it is for sure. Now, I have a question. Have you been to LOnGo? No, have you been to LOnGo in Playa?
LOnGo, the mushroom?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So this is old. This is typical. Oh, this is kind of like old school Playa. It is where Centro Maya is. The restaurant's off in the Ejido, and it is by Centro Maya for anybody who's listening. just north of Centro Maya. I believe it's on Calle 19, which is a dirt road. But LOnGo is like old school Playa del Carmen. And from my understanding, the chef there is the original chef from Babes and Noodles back in the old days.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
And
in the
it's
Ejido.
great funk adventure. It's
It's
in the Ojito.
in the Ejido over by Centro Maya. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, take
Uh,
that Glorietta around, and when you go to the Glorietta, go to the right, and
yeah,
then they usually have like a sandwich board on the median that says El Ongo, and they've got big painted, the front's all painted like the lottery. You know, there's
yeah.
the Corazon and all those, the Sandia, the characters from the Mexican lottery game. But if you go in there, they have a great menu, very similar to Babes and Noodles menu back in the old days. And it's just a funky feel, and just I love it. I love it. It's just not something. It's you won't find it down on the Quinta. This is definitely off the beaten path.
Oh, that sounds great. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check it out for sure. There's fewer and fewer of the old places around. So, you know, uh, even if it's new, but it has an old feel, is great.
So, John, hey, I'm gonna close up the show today, and I wanted to find out where I want a Mundo Maya beer. People listening, they're coming down. Where can they find your beer?
Well, we have a few locations in Playa that are offering the beer. A few restaurants, a few bars. If you go down to the old Shangri-La Hotel, which is now Maya, you can sit on the beach there at the beach bar. You don't have to be a guest of the hotel, but you can go to the beach bar and you can have a Mundo Maya right there on the beach, which is a great spot. If you want to be up on the Fifth Avenue, you can go to Tequila Barrel. You can go to a few restaurants, Casa de Agua. Well, you're putting me on the spot here. I don't usually look after the the clients so much. Yeah, you need Roberta
Where's
here. She can reel them off. Piola's a new place that we're working with, the old Piola on 38. But we work with a lot of the big hotels down in Tulum, La Zebra, Mezzanine, obviously Mateos. So there's a few places down there in town. There's the Barefoot Sports Bar, but in Playa, we don't have a lot of places per se. It's mostly the big hotels that we're working with, and on our website we have a where to buy page. So we'll get that.
And your website is it Mundo Maya Brewery or Brewing?
Mundo Maya Brewing Company.
MundoMayaBrewingCompany.com, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a where to buy page there.
Excellent.
So,
and I know in Akamal we've got what Turtle Bay's got the
yeah,
beer.
Turtle Bay and Buena Vida. So there's a couple places in Akamal that we're working with. I'm just sitting here trying to think of Playa.
And we
got more places. I know. I just can't. Yeah.
That's right. So we'll send everybody to your website now. Facebook. We can find you guys on Facebook.
Facebook is a great way to reach us. We're always updating that. Because we're on there pretty much every day. We get a lot of our comments will come through Facebook, and a lot of comments from the website. So they go to my email. And so, but Facebook is a great media tool that we can stay in touch with people. They can leave us comments there as well.
Great. And please keep us in mind, keep Loco Gringo in mind if there's some beer festivals and stuff happening. We'd love to support the local beer association of all you guys who are doing crafted beers and everything. So we're more than happy to support you guys and any of the events that you guys have. So just give us a shout so we can tell all our guests and all the people who keep track with what's going on in the Riviera Maya and Yucatan. We're more than happy to turn them all on to what y'all got going on.
If they like us on Facebook, we'll be posting all the information about any events that are coming up, openings for any new locations, etc. Another great place on Fifth Avenue is Salchicham, which is a gourmet sausage place. They sell our beer there as well. And also they have.
I haven't heard of that place.
Yeah, they have a place in Tulum as well at the ruin site. They have another really nice place in Tulum, but their food is excellent. We were working with establishments that have been around and that are kind of a upper scale places that want to sell artisan goods, artisan food, high quality stuff. Those are the places we'd like to be associated with. So Teaching was another good choice.
Beautiful. Well, Well, John, hey, I want to thank you so much today. Please keep in touch with us so we can keep people posted on the beers you're brewing, and we wish you the best of luck over at Mateos, and I hope to see you down there, and we'll have a beer together.
Absolutely, sounds good. Thanks so much for the interview and the chat. We'll see you soon.
All righty, John. Thanks so much. You have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for joining me and Jungle John today on our podcast. If you're here in the Riviera Maya, I invite you to have a beer, a Mundo Maya beer. And if you need anything, drop me an email, ask@locogringo.com. Until next week, hasta la vista.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe. For links, show notes, and more information, head on over to locogringo.com or give us a call toll-free at 800-478-0081.
Porque se tragó la luna, estaba enferma la rana. Su madre soba que soba, dedos de pluma la panza. Pensó ranita que luna era una toronja blanca. Y aunque la luna es de leche, la leche estaba cortada. Croa, croa, dedos de pluma. Croa, croa, dedos de agua. Croa, croa.